while we remain committed to supporting longtime community partners like Muscular Dystrophy Association, San Diego Burn Institute, United Cerebral Palsy San Diego, and many others. Our firefighters wish to expand our efforts to help San Diegans impacted by the pandemic.
No matter what time of the day,
no matter what day of the week,
we're here to serve our communities.
So stay united, San Diego.
And we'll get through this crisis together. Well, welcome again to another day of Local 145's 19 Days of Supporting COVID-19 Project. My name is Jason. I'm a proud member of Local 145 San Diego Firefighters and have been for 20 years. And it is my absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to sit and talk to two wonderful people, one that I just met and one that I've known for quite some time. And so I would like to I'd like you to introduce yourself, council member, to the people and let them know who you are. For the couple people that may not know you.
Well, first and foremost, I want to just say hi to everybody and make sure everybody is doing well. Number one, I think especially during these times, we need to make sure that we ourselves are good. Yes. I am Vivian Moreno. I am a council member in the city of San Diego. I am the council member for District 8, which includes San Isidro, Otay Mesa, Barrio Logan, Grant Hill, just to name a few communities, a few neighborhoods.
Good. That's a large responsibility. Your district is large. It covers a lot of space. Very unique about your district too. It goes a really long way. And we also have the two ports of entry, Otay Mesa and San Isidro, and we have an airport, and we have the working waterfront. Oh my goodness! Listen, I wonder if a lot of people even know that San Isidro is the busiest border in the world. It's the most crossed border in the entire world. So that's a lot of responsibility. Not to mention all the different neighborhoods and stuff that you oversee. So thank you for such a great responsibility. You've been around for a long time too. But we won't highlight you today. We want to talk about this wonderful lady that we have here, Miss Rodrigues, from the Sherman Heights Community Center. Could you please introduce yourself to the Zoom world and let the folks know who you are and what agency you represent?
Sure. Hello, Zoom world. It's nice to Zoom meet you. I'm very happy to be here.
You just coined that term today, Zoom meet.
You got to put it right to use. I'm really happy to be here and represent the Sherman Heights Community Center. As Jason said, I'm the board president. I've been serving on the board for about 5 or 6 years now, and I'm very happy to be here to represent Sherman Heights as a community and the community center, which fits really well with Councilwoman Moreno's district in that we are in Sherman Heights, and historically, that it's a historic neighborhood, one of our few. So we do focus on the residents of Sherman Heights, but we actually serve pretty much all of D8, as well as Chula Vista and National City, in that we have folks that come to the community center for all of our services from Sherman Heights down to San Isidro, west to east. And those services include after school education, arts and cultures programming. We have adult Spanish and English language learning classes, legal clinics that are free to the community on employment or other sort of immigration issues. We serve Hispanic community predominantly. We also have monthly food distribution, some seniors programs, and we're also home to 4 other organizations: the Family Health Centers, the Food Bank, the Border Angels, which does a lot of work along the border, and also, again, the ports of entry right there. And I'm missing one: Family Health Centers, Border Angels, Food Bank. We have local small caterers and businesses that use our commercial kitchen. And the King Chavez Schools also has adult education in our building.
Wow, that is a lot of work. I want you to talk a little bit about each one of the services that you provide. But before we do that, I always think it's appropriate and I just wanted to get back to Councilmember Moreno real quick to, a lot of the work that you do, you have a large you have a large district and a lot of work that needs to be done. And one of the things I think that's important for people to realize is that a council member is only as good as their staff. And so I just wanted to call your staff out by name and acknowledge them for all the hard work that they're doing during the pandemic, starting with your chief of staff, Travis Knowles, and then the deputy chief of staff, media and press communications person, Lisa Schmidt. And then we have your chief of policy is Kevin Smith. Community representative is Gerardo Ramirez. Your community representative is Eddie Padilla. Community representative Christopher Griss. Did I say it right? Yes. I even confirmed it before we started and I forgot. And last but not least, executive assistant Judy Nunez. And none of this stuff would be possible. These kind of organizations like the Sherman Heights Community Center wouldn't get the attention and the things that it needed to survive and serve in your district if it's not for the people that work on your staff. And so I just wanted to publicly thank your staff for doing such a great job to keep the world spinning in the midst of this COVID crisis.
We appreciate it.
Good job. Absolutely. So back to you real quick, if you will, Ashley. So you mentioned 5 programs. I believe you said 5. If you could maybe give a little bit of history, or not history, but give a little information about each one of those programs so that the people know, and then maybe talk about things that have changed since COVID, and maybe if your focus has changed a little bit, and if so, what is it now, so people know what they can get from you now.
Yeah, I hate to sound kind of trite and say in these crazy times, things have changed so much. I feel like that's everyone's opening statement. I mean, our mission is to promote education, health and personal development, cultural programs, and just general community well-being. And so our primary focus right now, because the center is a space for gathering, it's a space for people to come together. I mean, whether they're doing karate or Zumba lessons, or a lot of our senior community comes there to play loteria. So all of those things, are not able to happen anymore. So the center for us right now is so much more quiet than it should be, and than we wish it could be. And I just want to echo, your compliments of the councilwoman and her office. Eddie, her community rep, has been really wonderful too, staying in touch with us through this whole thing. So one of the main things that we are continuing to do, the primary service we're continuing to offer, is the food distributions on the first Friday of every month. And I'm sure all of the folks that have been distributing food through the food bank and other organizations are seeing just an incredible demand. We had 375, I think, families come last Friday to receive their food bank distribution food. We only had to turn away a couple people because we ran out, but every person that you turn away, it breaks your heart a little bit. The safety standards that were involved in that were just much more intense than they used to be. We actually had to have one of our other board members draw out chalk on the sidewalk all the way blocks down the building to keep people at 6 feet separation. And if you've never been to a food distribution, I have to highlight how obviously it's a crucial need for people. They're not going to be standing around looking for food if they don't really need it, but they have a cart that they have to bring with them, the ability to get to the center, and wait in line for hours to get their food. And the volunteers we were so incredibly lucky. And some of the support we're getting from the Moreno is going to allow us to buy the masks and other protective gear we need to keep that going through this crisis. So that's been a huge help. A lot of our other regularly scheduled services are on pause right now, and we're really thinking through what this is going to look like for us long term. We usually host a month-long series of cultural celebrations and workshops around Dia de los Muertos, which is in October through November. It's also our main fundraiser for the year. So we're thinking through what are all the virtual ways we can make this come to life and bring this cultural celebration and the historic nature of it to people's homes. And so that's kind of a long-term piece we're going with. Revenue is also a little down. We don't have the same classes we normally do that people come in and do pay for or volunteer and donate to. So that's different. I know our friends at the Border Angels and King Chavez and Family Health Centers, they're also struggling with how to maintain their services and without a physical site. So it's a daunting time for us, but we're still here. We kept all of our staff on payroll. No one is losing any of their wages, and we're doing the best we can to support the staff and all of our volunteers.
Wow. I mean, that it sounds great. On one hand, I know, really, I mean, and I say that with a caveat, right? On one hand, it's really good that the Sherman Heights Community Center is there during this time to be able to provide what's necessary. But it's sad that we have to do it this way, and that people actually need these things during a time like this or whatever. And so one of the things that you mentioned, and is the resources that are still needed right now. With the 19 days of supporting COVID-19 project, we have, the local 145 San Diego firefighters reached out to each one of the council districts and asked them, we wanted to do, we thought from our perspective, typically we get thanked for the jobs that we do and stuff. And none of us signed up for that, right? None of us signed up to be thanked or whatever. But we just thought, how could we actually give back now? Now is a time that everybody's really in need. And I don't know if people realize that firefighters typically want to do this job because we love to help. And sometimes, and so this fund that we gave this money, our Community Responsibility Fund, is a fund that's been around, I believe, since 1973. And it's something that we fund out of our own pockets. We give this money. And so we're doing 19 days of giving, reaching out to the council districts to give each district to pick 2 different organizations that they wanted to give. And we're giving $3,000 out of our own pockets to each one of these council members, $6,000 to each council member to give to 2 different organizations, totaling $57,000. And so I find it interesting to know why the council members pick the particular organizations. From my perspective, I could see why you would. I mean, just from what Ashley just said, like, I want to be a part of the organization right now. But I want to focus on you real quick for a second, Councilmember Moreno. Why did you choose the Sherman Heights Community Center to be who you would give a donation to?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I think that it's the responsibility of the council member in each council district to really be the bully pulpit for all these amazing organizations that we have in our districts. And so that being said, the Sherman Heights Community Center has been really the heart of Sherman Heights for the past 25 years. And as was mentioned, the programs provided for District 8 residents and the resources are very vital to our youth. As was mentioned, the adult English classes, after school programs, the cultural events, the Dia de los Muertos festival. If you have not gone, I need to put a plug in for Dia de los Muertos because they have been doing it before Disney started doing it, right? They are the community. Right. Mole, it is the real deal. And so, and during the pandemic, a lot of what was at the heart of the Sherman Center was kind of taken away, right? The ability for the community to come together, to have a space, that was taken away from all of us, really. And I think we're all kind of figuring out how to restructure our lives, even within our own homes, right? And getting a grasp of that. But when Jesse Connor from the local 145 contacted my staff, asking us to refer organizations for the COVID-19 support campaign, the Sherman Center was absolutely the first to enter my mind. And they're just an amazing organization that just continues to give and to really become innovative with the way that, even with the COVID pandemic, when I was out there yesterday, Rafael, one of the board members, said, "Hey, come and look at this this diagram that we, the poster essentially that we put up for the community. So if in case they don't have TV or don't have access to the internet, they know how, to stay away, to stay separated 6 feet, and just different methods to continue to educate the community. And that really is the heart of the Sherman Center, is just, being there for the community from its inception. And it continues to be, right. So for me, I personally want to thank Local 145 for the generous donation to the Sherman Center, and also for the opportunity for all of the city of San Diego to know what an amazing organization the Sherman Center is, how much, it is, how important it is, not only for me as a council member, but also for the whole community.
Wow.
So thank you for that.
Wow. I mean, I'm in love with the organization. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Ashley, we might have a new board member.
I heard you sign up to volunteer. We'll be following up with you.
Wait a second now. Wait a second.
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
No, it sounds that way. And for us at Local 145, thank you for recognizing us and what we have done. And really shout out to the firefighters for the suggestion for our president, Jesse Connor, president of Local 145, and the entire board for making this come to fruition and getting to see some of the wonderful work that's happening in the district. I am extremely pleased to be a part of Local 145. Let me just pivot back to you for anything to close with, Ashley. You spoke a lot about what you all do prior to this, which is where a lot of your funding sources would come from. And everybody knows community organizations like this, nobody's going to become a millionaire running a program like that or having one, right? I mean, so many of them are on shoestring budgets to begin with, and then let alone a pandemic come and take away most of what you have. What you talked about was incredible in terms of what services you offer. Can you really just give people an idea of some of the things that you need right now and ways that people who are looking for ways to be a blessing to organizations could possibly be a blessing to you as we close? Anything that you could say would be helpful.
Sure. And anything that folks do now would help us during the pandemic, but also to come out of this even stronger, hopefully, right? And to grow the organization. You can always donate monetarily, ShermanHeightsCC.org. Follow us on Facebook. I encourage you to share our posts when we have food distribution coming up. The more people we consistently get, we can get more food to serve them. So the food distributions is definitely one component. We are looking for people to help us, like I said, bring the Dia de los Muertos celebrations to life virtually. So we're looking at creating at-home coloring books for the kids and mask-making kits and some other virtual loteria and things like that. So, I mean, in a variety of ways, we're looking to do that. And we might even roll that out sooner than later. We are also launching our after-school program. Councilwoman Moreno was a huge help in us getting that going. Obviously, there's no school right now. And so our launch this semester or whatever it is for the kids is going to happen in the fall, hopefully, if we're all back to school by then. But we do need some arts and crafts supplies for that program and some technology, some computers, laptops, and things like that for the kids to use while they're going to be there after school. So any of that would be an incredible help. And there's nothing better than good old feet on the ground and people willing to work. So if anyone's interested in volunteering for food distribution or on a larger level on our committees or a board, that would be incredible. We have work to do, and we'd love to have anyone that's willing to help us.
Amazing. So just based on that real quick, can you, talking about the food distribution and the need for that right now, that's a real need right now for help with that. Can you give us the address for maybe those who don't know where it's at? And then what time is the food distribution so people would know what time to show up?
Sure. So food distributions for us are the first Friday of every month, and they are 9 to 12. We get there around 6 a.m. to get things going. So it is, it's not like it's an early morning, and you got to be ready to work because we have to do our whole food distribution is actually outside now. People can't enter the facility.
Sure.
So we're managing people all the way. Literally, I'm talking blocks of people. And then those that bring carts or whatever, we actually create and it's more of like an outdoor shopping center. We sort of create stations and volunteers take the carts and we go through and fill them up ourselves and then come out around and bring them. So we have people kind of managing the folks and then also managing the actual, get the food in the baskets or the bag situation. We're located on an island right in the center of Sherman Heights, right across from the Sherman Elementary School. So, Sherman Heights, it proper is fairly small. We're right smack dab in the middle of it, just behind Market Street. And you can call the center. Our number's still open and we're checking the voicemail. You can email or Facebook us any of those ways you can get right a hold of us. And, what was your other question? I'm forgetting something.
That was it.
That was it. All right. I nailed it.
Time and the space. So the Sherman
9
Heights
to 12 and first Friday of the month. I will say though, obviously this is about Sherman, but there's a lot of organizations doing distributions and more stepping up every day. And a lot of them are churches. Sure. So I'd encourage people to get in touch with Feeding San Diego or with the Food Bank of San Diego. Both run those. and they can find a site that may be closer to them too.
Sure. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for the
Can I
wonderful
add
work.
something?
I'm gonna let you close. I'm gonna let you close out. I'm gonna let you close out the interview. I just wanted to say to her real quick, thank you so much for the incredible work that you do. It sounds like you guys have an incredible program. And one of the things that struck me was that it's almost like an experience to be a part of your food distribution. You know, to be able to. It seems like it's done differently than some of the other ones. And so shout out to you for having personality, even in your food distribution in the midst of a pandemic. Shout out to the creativity of you and the staff and your team. Really proud to hear that. Councilmember Moreno, if you will, go on and take us out with any final comments that you have. We would love to hear it.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank our first responders, our firefighters. We love you guys. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. We really appreciate that. And I just want to remind people that, you know, we still are in this pandemic, so we still need to buckle down. We still need to stay home. You know, we need to wear our masks out in the community only for essential, outings. And I just would encourage everybody, if they have any questions or want to follow up on any of the topics that we touched today or anything the city is doing, please feel free to contact my office at Vivian Moreno at sandiego.gov. Or if you want to get in contact with the Sherman Center, we're more than happy to put you guys in contact. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts very much to our firefighters for everything you guys are doing. And you still find another way to do more. So we really appreciate you doing this here today.
Wow,
really,
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you both for such an incredible conversation. And man, my heart is made today. This was really, really good. Thank you so much, Councilmember Moreno, and for Board President Ashley Rodrigues from the Sherman Heights Community Center. Thank you so much. On behalf of Local 145 and all of our members, and our president, Jesse Connor, and all the board and staff that put all this together, we just want to say thank you so much for the love that you always show us for your, and we're always going to be here 365 days a year, no matter what's going on. And we look forward to being able to see more of what's going to happen in the community. And to everybody else that's going to watch this, get a hold of the Sherman Heights Community Center and see if you can help out of their food drive on Fridays, first Fridays from 9 to 12. You got to get there at 6 though, if you really want to get the experience. We really, at a time like this, we're seeing people come together, and it's really amazing. But let's remember that even after the pandemic, organizations that's been around for over 20 years, like the Sherman Heights Center, are still going to be there. So establish the relationship now and continue it on as time moves forward. So thank you both so much for the incredible leadership that you provide to our community and the services. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. And ladies and gentlemen, join us tomorrow for another organization that's going to be highlighted. Until then, we'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.